All right, all right, all right. Let those notifications go out, you all. Yes, it is absolutely a great day to have this discussion. After all, our movement at Consulting for Heightened Awareness is, that's right, combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. And I got something for y'all. Oh man, let me tell you, because I felt the breakthrough while I was running some errands today, and I was like, glory be to God. Okay, so let those notifications go out. Let me do our usual sound check. Remember, between 2 and 5 p.m. on Thursdays and Fridays. It just depends on what time I get back, if I've got to run errands and things like that. And those of you who are waiting on email responses, I'm going to get to you later on. So thank you for your patience. And this is a journey, you all. Come on, come on, come on. That's right. This is a journey. And we are on it together. So there we go. All right, we got that going. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. I got to go grab one more thing because this combo, oh my gosh, this combo, I'm telling you, I felt it on the inside. And I was like, yo, kidoki. All right, so let me grab it one more time. And I know that, I found out that taking the Boswellia, okay, Boswellia, okay, the Boswellia extract, okay, I found out taking it with the multivitamin, I mean, it still works, but you don't want to do that. But you do want to take it with food. Okay, so I decided, okay, we'll take the multivitamin with breakfast. And then a lot of times when we get back from a morning walk, we're feeling a little bit snacky. So if I got some deviled eggs or a piece of fruit, then I'll take the Boswellia with that. There you go. Okay. And I did something today that I had not done before. And God put it on my spirit. He reminded me about turmeric. And I said, that's right. Turmeric is good for, exactly, not just inflammation and circulation, but those two main things. But it does have a bit of a bite to it. I don't deny that. However, it's beneficial. I put a little bit too much turmeric powder on one of my deviled eggs for a snack before going to the store, right? And I had taken a Boswellia. So that combo, just the turmeric and the Boswellia together, as I was walking through the store, I was, on the inside, I was feeling the results on the inside. And I was like, whoa, that's a breakthrough. Because we're detoxing from radio frequency poisoning, right? So let's get these formalities out of the way. Hello, fellow warrior Chris. Yes. Okay, they only had oil. So, well, you know what? Okay, that's fine. You might have to do that. You may have to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to share with you all this little concoction that God put on my spirit to make, because it's going to go well for the detoxing. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think of that, because in my situation, okay, I know maybe some of y'all who have joined us on this journey, if you start to notice, right, remember, we're detoxing for healthier living, okay? And so God put this on my spirit. He said, put some turmeric on that deviled egg. I had already eaten one deviled egg when I took the Boswellia. And then on the other one, God told me, he just led me to that turmeric, the big one that I had in the cupboard. He said, yeah, but hang on to that, because I use that to make other things with, like my curry and Mexican seasonings and stuff. Yes, I make my own. I've got a poultry, a Mexican, and a curry. I get the fenugreek capsule vitamin shop, and I break them open, and that's the fenugreek powder that goes inside my homemade curry. And so there's turmeric in that too. However, this was a turmeric tonic, if you will, for healing. Okay, because as we go through the detox, that internal heat from all that sodium, that internal heat, right, as it starts to decrease, got to remember something. That internal heat caused a little bit of inflammation. So turmeric's really good for that too. So is boswellia. So let me get these formalities out of the way, you all. All right, I am Michelle Dickey, your host for CHA Let's Just Chat Show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, where trauma healing and spiritual growth are front and center while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. All right, yes. Trauma healing and spiritual growth occur with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true technique, and more here and at CHAAcademyBTBW.com. That link is listed below. Some of you might need to copy and paste the link to view what CHAAcademyBTBW.com has for you to help you level up that trauma healing and spiritual growth. Okay. All right, so let's get to it. All right, you got a pen or paper, everybody? Come on, grab you something to take some notes, okay? Because here's what I had. I had some granulated garlic left in here. I had like probably about that much left, maybe a little bit more. No, it was less than that. And so I said, okay, well, I'm going to put garlic powder. I'm going to put garlic powder in my turmeric tonic anyway. So what is in this? There's just 5 simple ingredients. Okay, starting off with a little bit of garlic, maybe if you've got a container like this or whatever container you can use, I would say maybe about a quarter of the way with the garlic powder. Okay, all right, and then he had me pick up, at the store he had me pick up a bottle of more turmeric, a smaller one. And as you can see that a little over half is what went in here. Okay, I used some of it for a salad dressing earlier, but about half or a little over half of this bottle went in here because that's the primary ingredient for the turmeric tonic. That's what it's called. So this is CHA turmeric tonic. Yeah, Consulting for Heightened Awareness is turmeric tonic. Okay. And I'll be bringing this to you all again. All right. So trademark. There you go. Okay. And so that turmeric is going to be at least half of this tonic. All right. So it's going to be a little. I know turmeric doesn't have the best taste, but remember, we're not eating to feed the flesh. Okay. Because when you notice on the inside, you will feel some of that inflammation just go. That's what I'm talking about. When I was walking through the store, I was like, whoa, I'm feeling some decrease on the inside here. Oh, glory be to God. So, right. And then, okay, so we got the garlic powder about a quarter of the way, and then a little over half of a regular sized bottle of turmeric. Okay. And then I added a little bit of chili powder. It doesn't necessarily have to be the dark chili powder, but chili powder. Okay, just pure chili powder. All right, so probably about, I would say maybe a tablespoon, give or take, because that's also great for circulation. And then I would say probably a teaspoon of ground mustard. So let me give you the measurements here. Okay, I didn't measure the turmeric out, but, regular size bottle, a little over half what went in here. The garlic, you just filled about a quarter of the way up in the container. And so maybe a tablespoon or 2 to your liking for the chili powder. For the mustard, a teaspoon or 2, okay, because this does have a little heat. Remember what we're trying to do. Right, we're trying to decrease the internal heat. So you don't want to put too much ground mustard or mustard powder in there. All right, and then maybe a teaspoon to a tablespoon of onion powder to your liking. That's it. And so that makes up about that much, which is plenty to sprinkle on a burger while it's cooking. Yeah, to sprinkle on a deviled egg. Yeah, and it only takes a little bit. I'm telling you, a little bit goes a long way. Remember, abundance. And so that's to help with the internal, all of that, with the bacteria. So until you can get some bacteria that kind of ups the ante, now you have a backup. And then when you find, so I was like, okay, but see, at the same time, God revealed the culprit plugs that were preventing a lot of that, right? So he showed me some other areas I need to ice pack. So we've been doing that over the last, yesterday we started in some new areas, okay, where I noticed, okay, hold on a second. Yeah, like I shared with y'all on Patreon about the toilet seat. Yeah, it's on Patreon. That's right. Because we discovered something else that the psycho did. Never forget something, you all. Jezebel typically are psychos. Okay, they are. It's just the way it is. Oh, and to answer, I have not answered you yet, Chris, on Patreon, but let me go ahead and let you know that I'll get to that. But I know that the demonic demotion takes place whenever a Jezebel is a psycho and they don't take out one of God's chosen ones. They get demoted to sociopathic status. They'll try another chosen one and fail at it as they get older. And so then they just become another run-of-the-mill narc. They're still a Jezebel, but they're just like they're like a baby again. Yep. And they can never make it back up that demonic ladder. Nope. Because they get physically weak the older they get. So we know that's what's going to happen to them. And also, like I've shared before, that when one of those Jezebels tries to, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. Psalm 105:15, right? Yeah, God, God takes care of that. Okay, the devil will demote them, but God turns them over to a reprobate mind anyway. And so we don't have to do anything. As far as that Jezebel case study, I already know that as soon as I got out of there, she's going to have nothing but bad days going forward. It's natural because narcissists typically have bad days every day because of their own negative thinking. But it's just going to be worse now because she failed and then demoted back to sociopathic status. She'll never make it back to psychopathic status, you all. Not at her age. I can tell you that. Not going to. That's what God wanted me to share with y'all. This is why we do not have to do anything when one of these Jezebels tries to take out a chosen one. They get demonically demoted. The older they get, the weaker physically they are, and they're just never going to make it back up the demonic ladder. And they perish. We, however, heal. Right? Okay. So, for those who are not familiar, I remain spiritually, emotionally, and psychologically healed from the trauma, no matter what happened. But the only thing the enemy had left was to try to re-traumatize the autonomic nervous system. So in order to do that, all he had left to attack was my physical body. And so once we realized, hold up a second, we got to get back on that blood type diet. And so we did. And so we got rid of junk food. We got rid of stuff that had excess sodium. We started the detox around November 1st of 2023. And so I'll share with you all to give you the motivation, right? November, December, January, February. We just now entered March. We're entering our 4th month, right? Okay, 15 plus pounds lighter and up to about 5 inches smaller in a relatively short amount of time since doing the dietary reset. Okay, so I want you, that's how quick God does things when we turn things around for healthier living. So he gave us that movement, combating radio frequency poisoning, because we're not going to escape it. It's all around us. sirens outside, garbage truck, the low vibration of the dumping of the can, and the beep, 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 backing up. I mean, that's frequency. All of it. That's right. And then the brakes on the bus, the low frequencies, whoosh, beep, 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 beep. It's all around us. So we're not going to escape it. We're going to notice it more. Exactly. And let me explain something to y'all. That in the spiritual, right, I understood that smoke alarm. Now I understand that when it throws a temper tantrum, it's telling me it needs a new battery. Okay. But before I realized that, it would be around 8:45 in the morning on Wednesdays, and then a little after 9 a.m. outside would be the landscape crew with their high, low. That's the spiritual, okay? Because since I had a new battery put in, that's not happened again. Think about it. Right? And so, exactly, trying to manipulate my autonomic nervous system. Because that's what the enemy needs to do, right? To get us trauma bonded to the world first. Because once we break that, oh, come on, y'all, 1 Timothy 6, verse 7. Now, we didn't bring nothing in, we ain't taking nothing out. And not only that, when God revealed that, guess what, y'all, chosen one, we don't need none of the stuff of this world where Jesus is taking up. Let that sink in. That, oh man, that sealed the deal for me. Break the trauma bond with the world. So we overcome the unhealthy attachments to people and things because we need to. We cannot have those. That's not normal. That's pleasing the flesh and people pleasing. So we knock that out, right? Because we're in God's reality. And so, yes, we are going to cover some additional tips because healthier living for trauma healing is, I'm telling y'all, the healthier you eat, the faster you heal. And that is what I just demonstrated for you all. November 1st of 2023, just 4 months ago, when I did the complete dietary reset, I got rid of junk. I got back to my blood type diet. And we are also making our own homemade superfood soups and juices because I make the consistency of a soup. And then if I want to take it on my wall, I add some water to make a juice full of potassium, nutrients, for example. All right, like the one I just did, a highly beneficial one that I shared recently. Okay, I got spinach, kale, sweet potatoes, black-eyed peas, zucchini, I believe. But just 5 ingredients. It doesn't even have to be that. If all you have, I want y'all to really think about that. Healthier living does not cost an arm and a leg. It depends on how you do it. Take a look at what you already have. Okay, because most likely you're going to have a few vegetables. Hopefully. Hopefully. All right. If you don't, you're going to want to get some. Because one thing I've come to learn, and many of us have, is that I was even looking today because I hadn't made pineapple juice in a while, but I got pineapple in there. And I said, okay, I'd make my own juices, yes. No added sugars. Because the one thing I've come to learn is on a lot of fruit juices, unless you go to like a Whole Foods or a all natural market that tends to charge an arm and a leg. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, see, that's why I'm saying it's all in how you do it. So if you've got a blender set, you can make your own for healthier living. Seriously, it does not take that long, especially if you want homemade pineapple juice. What I've done, though, here, I found it works best for me as far as small space living and time-wise and things like that, is that I buy pineapple chunk already cut up sometimes. So you can do that, okay? I have bought the actual pineapple and cut it up myself, too, either way. So what I can do with that is I can put it in a blender. I got gallon. I always keep a couple of gallons of drinking water. That's highly recommended, you all. Okay, because I'm not going to use tap water in my soups and juices. Not going to happen. Okay, because I smell the sulfur in that stuff. Many of us know, yeah, you don't want that stuff. So you get yourself a couple of store brand, relative. I mean, I don't even think that, 97 cents each for. Yeah, so it's not that expensive, but you keep a couple of gallons on hand for this. So I'll put pineapple chunks in the blender, and I'll add the water necessary to fill up one of my containers that I've got. Because I now use 2-quart pitchers for the superfoods. Because every day. So I was using little 1-quart mixer bottle. Now I put my 3 top seasonings in those. Because that was the intended use for those. And we upgraded to 2-quart pitchers of the superfoods. Because we can do a soup for breakfast. We can do a juice on the wall. I've got 2 different kinds that all, exactly. I'm not going to do the same kind twice, obviously, so I have a variety. I highly encourage y'all, at least 2 different types. They will last you up to a week as long as vegetables that you used were not already close to on their way out. Keep that in mind. You want to get the freshest of the fresh when you make a superfood soup, okay? So you can combine whatever veggies you like for that, because what's happened also with that internal body heat being higher than necessary is it interferes with proper digestion. Aha! This is why the superfoods are great, because I know it's like eating baby food. However, you're going to get the nutrients that your body needs. Remember Colossians 2 verse 19, right? That God increases, we increase with God in our nutrition. This is how we do it. The closer to God as we increase with God. Okay? And he hastens this stuff on his time. I mean, come on now, 4 months. And so that's why I was like, why does it seem as though it's at a standstill though? It's not. Because God showed me today, he led me back to the turmeric. He said, honey child, remember this good stuff. All natural. All natural in God's reality. Okay, so there you go. It's really not difficult to do. So let's see. Yes. Okay, good. You want to prep notes for tomorrow. Awesome. Yes, curry. Curry great on chicken. It's good on turkey. It's good on pretty much all meat, really. Especially beef, curry beef. Oh, yeah. I make mine mild, though. And I can always, if I want to, heat it up. But right now, we're taking a break from hot sauce and hot things right now. Jalapenos, as much as we know that those are beneficial for elimination, we have to, and circulation for the red pepper side of it. Chili powder doesn't have, it shouldn't have it shouldn't have a high heat to it, but it'll have just enough. It's for that circulation. So yes, Jesse demotion. And so no, I looked again at a different store today. So God revealed that I may not need that because those areas are getting ice packed. And I mean ice packed, like those areas are under an ice pack attack. Okay? Those areas are under an ice pack attack right now. So I'm kind of like, because there's going to be so many things after this is done that's going to get donated. So I'm like, because God revealed to me and said, well, that's why it seems like it's a standstill. Because those are plugs right in the middle of my body between the top, for that circulation, right? Okay, so But thank you for checking. Thank you for checking. Yes, I know. Right. Well, I don't even think about the fact that it could have been worse. The possibility, right? And I am glory to God over the fact that it was very minor myself. Okay, and that all I need to do is just engage in the self-care that we've been engaging in. And so we now have 2 of those large size ice packs. Oh yeah. God's like, yeah, go get you another one of those. Up the ante. Once we discover and we find that something is working, we do more of it, right? Not too much more, but just a little bit more. Remember, we don't want to overdo. In other words, I'm not going to sit on those ice packs, put those ice packs at those spots for like hours on end. No. Anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes at a time, at several times throughout the day, because there's other areas that have to get some self-care as well. So, and, right. Yep. Yeah. Oh, and I'll tell you, because of the landscape crew being there early in the morning, shortly after 9, after that high beat, and then that low out there, because the last couple of Wednesday morning, they didn't come around my end until close to noon. And a lot of times, if I was getting ready to take off, I was leaving to run errands. You see? That's not a coincidence that they would be right outside this building first after. Come on now. Spiritual. Yep. Curry tuna. Oh, yeah. On seafood. Woohoo. Yeah. Curry on shrimp. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ice pack attack. Cool beans. Thank you for that. But it is what it is. No pun intended. Oh, we gotta have a little fun with this. But yeah, healthier living, you all. Seriously, all part of it. Self-care. Oh my gosh, yes, big time for trauma healing. Okay, and mine just happens to be in the physical. So, yeah. Oh my. Okay. So, healthier living, fresh herbs. Okay, see, this is the other thing that we do. Okay, you all, as we get into God's reality even further, and we're like, okay, there's something that I have never embarked on before, as far as keeping up with, or we're gonna see if we can. I'm new at it, so I gotta look stuff up, and I'm gonna have to research. But there's 3 herbs that are kind of like the go-to for me when I go for fresh herbs, and that is basil, dillweed, and cilantro. Because I use those like putting basil in the portobello mushroom soup that I make with. That's with the butter beans, the large lima beans, and then a little garlic powder, onion powder, a couple of dashes of cayenne pepper, not too hot, and then some fresh basil. Oh, gosh. That's so soothing and so healthy, because those portobello mushrooms also provide additional protein. So do the beans. Potassium and protein, the top 2 P's for healthier living right there. Along with other things, yes. But I'm telling you, because, yes, protein and potassium. And so, typically, for myself, the blood type diet is basically high protein, low carb. And so we learn what the good carbs are. For those who are unfamiliar, you can look it up. It's out there. This is how I found out. But sweet potatoes and then brown rice. So like brown rice noodles, brown rice itself. I do have some jasmine rice and white rice, and that's fine too, because I like to diversify a little bit. But the rice noodles, but brown rice is a healthier carb, considered a good carb, and sweet potatoes are considered a good carb, because the sugars in there are all natural, so the body's naturally gonna. Never forget this, you all, okay? That God designed our body to take in all natural first. Our digestive system was strategically designed by God to go after the natural things first to digest. The enemy knows this. Okay? The enemy knows this. So that's why we learn that, that article I shared a while back about corn syrup and fruit. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we're not the only ones on this planet that know about that. But, we are just becoming more aware of, okay, you know what? We do want to be more mindful what we put in this body. This is the temple for the Holy Spirit, after all, right? There you go. And so, again, it does not have to cost an arm and a leg to eat healthier. That's a big fat lie on the world stage to get people to keep eating all that junk. Now, I'm not saying that we don't splurge every once in a while, depending on what it is, but I really do try to keep it within. I want to keep it in the blood type diet. And so, anytime, I'm in the store earlier today, and God had to remind me, it's not a good idea, because I was trying to tell myself that once I get finished with this physical healing, that physical trauma, that once we get done with that, that I might be able to. No, because it was me thinking that way in the first place that I got myself in trouble. Veering off the blood type diet a little too much. So, God's like, are you sure you want to do that? No, we don't. Now, it doesn't mean I won't go and maybe get a gluten-free meal from a restaurant that has gluten-free options. Sure, God said you're fine with that as long as it's gluten-free. And then, hopefully, we pray that there's no corn syrup. That was the biggest thing right there. I realized that I was getting that indirectly through some other foods I was eating, and I didn't realize it. And I went, oh. So, I haven't gotten any more gluten-free pizzas from restaurants out there. No. If I want a gluten-free pizza, I have almond wraps. So, I'll use that as a crust. Very thin crust, and I'll make a pizza on that. Or I've got the flour, gluten-free flour, stuff. Yes, we made a commitment. Because I realized, I said, oh, no wonder. Yeah, because we learned that corn syrup is very, very addictive. It tells that frontal lobe, hey, and just because I was not experiencing any digestive issues per se, I thought, hey, I can get away with this when there's no narcissist around. No. So we learned our lesson. I hold myself accountable. Yeah, I did that to myself. Yeah, I know. It really is surprising, but that portobello mushroom soup is very filling, very soothing, very healthy. And, your body knows what it needs as you're detoxing, because it's like, okay. So we always want to make sure that we are paying attention to, and if you get hungry while at the grocery store, remember my tip. Okay, have a plan. Yes, have a plan. So, for example, like today, I was only going to go to one store, but I wanted a fresh basil plant, and I knew that there was another place that sells those. So I got me one, because we're going to try. That's the new thing. But I got to look up how to this and how to that. And so for right now, I got a pot, a thing to put it in, but I've left it in the store potting thing and add a little water. And now it's getting a little bit, hopefully, sunshine. But for now, because I'm going to go, but I have to do some research. Because I was in Walmart, and I looked in there, and I did not see soil that I was looking for, and I know they got it, but we'll figure it out. We will figure this out. This is all new to me, and I'm excited because I like having fresh herbs. I've got the dried dill weed in there, But I really, and I've gotten the little packs from the grocery store and stuff like that. But I was like, as often as I utilize those herbs, especially cilantro and basil, yeah, and the dillweed on seafood, salmon, swordfish, that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, fresh dillweed. And so it's really, yeah, and because I also used fresh dillweed as the herb inside one of my superfoods. See, that's the other thing, you all. These natural herbs have healing components. And that's just the way it is. That's the way God made it. Glory be to God. So that's what they're here for. Okay? But they have healing components and property in them. And this is not new. I mean, herbs being used for healing, that's been around for a long, long time. It's not a new concept. Yeah, that Jezebel case study was trying to pass it off as a new concept. I just let the fool keep speaking. Yeah, play the fool to let the fool think they're fooling you. I didn't say a word because trying to convince me that growing herb with artificial lights and stuff is never. Yeah, never mind. It was all for show anyhow. But because I've been on natural herbal supplements on and off for a long time, since being on the blood type diet, like I've got the supplement in there, beets, right, from the vitamin shop. I've also got kelp. And of course, it's boswellia. I mean, they may not be plant. Well, yeah, the beets are and the kelp. But as far as the basil and other things, yeah, it's nice to have those on hand because I like to put those in the superfoods as well. And so in one of the, I think it was the, it was the batch. It was the batch before this current one that I had that put fresh dillweed in. Let me tell you, ooh, the aroma. It was very, very soothing. Yeah, that was a superfood green superfood. I put the fresh dillweed. Oh, let me tell you. That was one of those little packs that I got from the store. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do some research. I'm gonna find some locally grown already for me to transfer from one pot to another. So that's the other thing for healthier living. It can totally be done. Absolutely. And you don't have to break the bank to do it. So that's the number one tip I have. Take a look at what you got already. Take a look. If you want to get started today, take a look at what you've got in your cupboard. Take a look at what you've got in your fridge. Take a look at what you've got in your pantry already, what's already on hand. Because if you are embarking on the eating healthier, right, for healthier living, right, getting on this movement and journey with us, that take a look at what you already have. And so even if you've got canned beets, you can do something with that. Yes, you can. And if you've got a bag of dry beans of some kind, you can do something with that. Let's say you've got, oh my goodness, let's say you've got maybe a can of green peas. Even if it's not the low sodium one, you can still do something with it to use up what you've got. But then going forward, as you grocery shop, you learn to pay closer attention to the no salt added and no added sugars. Okay, no added sugar. That's a no-no. And that's one of the big things I find in a lot of the, not all of them, but in a lot of the fruit juices out here. And yes, I do have a low sodium V8 in there, okay, because that makes a great tomato soup. Even though I can make my own, God told me to go ahead and get that because you can add a little bit of that to my superfood as well because it's got spinach. It says it does, watercress, and it doesn't have any added sugars, okay, and it's lower sodium. So instead of the serving size, I'm only maybe halving that. So I'm still getting lower sodium, even lower than that per serving. And so you can do that too. Okay, there's nothing wrong with mixing things up a bit. Okay, because we do like to take a break too, yeah. But we continue to be mindful what we're purchasing when it comes to eating healthier. So to give y'all an idea here, okay, I'll just show it to you. How about that? That way you have a visual. Because, oh my, okay. Now, there you go. Got spaghetti squash, butternut squash, acorn squash. I eat sweet potatoes quite often. And then there's some regular onion and a red onion up in there. Okay, see? Totally doable. And it does not break the bank. And yes, you see the bananas. That's right. And that's a little heavier than it looks, but we got it. So I wanted to just share that with you all, that it's totally doable. Okay, and then inside the fridge, you'll find celery, romaine lettuce. I got 2 beef steak tomatoes earlier. You'll find tofu. You'll find, tofu is a great low sodium per serving, only 10 milligrams per serving. Very low sodium, but high fiber and high protein. You get like 14 grams of protein per serving. Let's see, and then and I learned that tofu doesn't have to be cooked. When I took the last tofu out of the package, I cut several slices and made a sandwich with an almond wrap. Ate it right like that. I was like, oh, I didn't know we could do that. You can. I used to think that I only liked it crispy on all the sides. That's the old way of doing things. We could still do it that way, but God revealed something to me about eating tofu right out of the package. I was like, oh, we so can do that. How about that? Okay. All right, and then you'll also find strawberries, pineapple. You'll also find my superfoods, okay? You'll also find, I'm thinking of the vegetable. You'll find some broccoli. No, wait, I used all that up. You'll find zucchini. You will find onion, and then, of course, unsalted butter. And you'll find feta cheese. And then you will find some lactose-free cheese and mozzarella cheese. So, little things like that. And you'll find eggs. So I'm just giving you all an idea here. So I showed you the other side, the things that don't have to go in the fridge till after they're cooked. Okay, and then I shared a little bit of what you'll find in the fridge. And then again, what you'll find in the cupboard is some oatmeal. You'll find chicken and beef broth, no salt added. You'll find, that's out there. You just got to look for it. I know when I found that, I was like, oh, because before I used to just get the low sodium one. Now, since I discovered that some stores do carry no salt added broth, that's even better. Because like with the no salt added beef broth, if I were to do a sirloin roast, I want to be able to add my 50% low sodium gluten-free soy sauce. You see? That gives me some flexibility so I can add to my taste. And it won't be too salty. Because there's going to be salt in the beef already also. And some of that's going to cook out through the heat. Yes. Listen, when it says 70 milligrams per serving of sodium per, let's say, turkey burger, remember, as you're cooking that burger and that fat is falling off, what do we know about fatty tissue? Think about it. Fatty tissue and salt, mucus, what we know about radio frequency poisoning. Okay, well, same thing applies. Okay? Because when you're cooking that and the juices and some fats are cooking out, well, so is some of that salt. So you're not going to, once the burger's ready, if that's how you're eating it, once that's cooked and you're ready to eat, you're not getting 70 milligrams of sodium in that burger anymore. I guarantee it. You're not. It might be maybe 50, give or take, because some of it's going to cook out. Why else do you think on a lot of your cooking shows, because they know that some of that salt's going to cook out of the meat as it cooks and heats all the way through, especially if you are doing it well done. Right? They know that. That's why they always add more salt. Trick of the enemy. Okay? Because that salt and sugars, excess sugar, for the formation of excess mucus, which is what radio frequency needs to house the metamolecule and salt. Okay, there you go. See, that brings me to this point, that whenever our autonomic nervous system is not operating as it should, normal muscle function can't occur, or it won't occur as it should, because normal muscle function does what? Promotes proper circulation. So if the muscles are working the way they should, then your body will get the nutrient that it needs where it needs them. In the muscles, in the joint, everywhere. Right? All about healthier living for trauma healing. Because, again, the healthier we eat, the faster we heal. And so it may not seem like it's been that long, but we're in the 4th month. Yeah, but I eat on that stuff. Yep, because a lot of times the sweet potato, either I bake it or I peel it and I cut them, into like little, I guess you could say little, I don't know how, like silver dollar size, maybe, if that. They're not exactly round because of the way I cut the skin off, but and then I put a little bit of unsalted butter in the pan, and then I take the sweet potatoes when I cut them in like almost a circle, and then on each side, as they cook all the way through, get a little bit lightly brown on each side. I do it that way too, or a baked sweet potato. There you go. And then also for sweet potato soup, there you go. And sweet potato is highly beneficial for the blood type diet. So it's that. And it's not the acorn squash also makes a good soup. Your butternut squash also, yeah. And those are all very high in potassium, along with the bananas. And I know, Chris, you don't like bananas, but you got options. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. It's all to our preferences and things like that, but we're not eating to feed the flesh anymore. But again, back to the cupboard, you'll find some raw almonds, no salt, walnuts, no salt. You'll find purple and golden raisin. You'll find unsalted rice cake and unsalted brown rice crackers. You'll find a homemade snack mix. There's a picture of that on the 0 to 50 milligram low sodium guide off the Patreon channel. That's right. And let's see. Yeah, and then that broth. Oh, and a vegetable. Yeah, vegetable broth. No salt added. I found that. I was like, ooh. Yeah, you have to be paying attention. You have to take the time to look for these things. But if you can't find a broth that has no salt added, at least get the lower sodium one. Okay, that's how we do it. Combating radio frequency poisoning by keeping our sodium intake in check so that our body's internal heat doesn't get higher than it's supposed to. That way we will properly digest, we will properly circulate. That's right. We'll get the nutrition that we need on increase. Again, Colossians 2, verse 19. On increase. Oh, you do like, oh, okay, you like banana. Oh, you think that some are well, they could be. They could be genetically modified. If only they were normal. It needs an abnormal banana. Oh, you poor thing. You poor thing. I'm sure that if you, I'm sure if you did some additional searching, you might find. Do you have? Okay, here's what I would suggest for anyone who may be experiencing something similar to that, where we know that some foods are being genetically modified. We get that, but to avoid those foods, you might want to look in to see if you have a local farmers market, like the one where I used to live. Okay, they went by the name Variety Produce. It was a great place to go and get fresh fruit and vegetables. Okay, so I don't know about what it might be called in your jurisdiction, but that would be something to look into. And it also helps to support local farmers. Oh yeah, I'm all for that. Absolutely. To support our local farmers. Sure. So you know what? I'm gonna make myself a note of that as well, because I have not done that since being here, and I know there's gotta be one. So I'm gonna make myself a note. Practice what we preach, right? There you go. Because I used to go to that Variety Produce every once in a while. And so I need to find, I know it may not be called farmers market, but I know what we're looking at. So I can support our local farmers. Yeah. We can all do that together if you've got one. If you don't have one of those in your jurisdiction, I don't know what to tell you. Oh man. But yeah, I would imagine that there's got to be somewhere. There's got to be something like that somewhere. You know, where you can get non-GMO produce and fruits. You know, yeah, gotta be. Because I know there's a lot of us who are big on the no GMOs. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's all about healthier living, right? You don't want to be taking in a bunch of GMO type food. That's not healthy. Okay, yeah, there you go. Look into that. They're not too far away. And the farmers do need our help all the time. It's not that we'll cut out the big corporate food suppliers 100%, but we can reduce the amount and help our local farmers. I think that should be part of our striving to be more Christ-like. How about that, y'all? There's a goal for all of us to see if we can find a way to do that. Let's do it together. Okay, let's encourage each other to do that. Okay, because they're out there laboring and working hard and things like that too, right? To live and feed their families as well. So I want to do that. Let's start that. Yeah. That we are having this chat because it's very important. And so even though I did not do as much of it where I used to live, I did every once in a while. But now, you know what? Now it's time to bring this as part of a thing for Consulting for Heightened Awareness to support the local farmers. Because they're out there working too, you know. So anyhow, there's that. I just want to get on here and have this discussion again. And for anybody who's new to it, if you haven't come across any of this before, now you have, because it's really important as far as taking better care of our temple for the Holy Spirit. So even for any kind of trauma healing, okay? Spiritual, emotionally, psychologically, and then of course in my case, physically. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, the first three, okay, the emotional, spiritual, and psychological trauma healing, that occurred for me shortly after. Yeah, well, it started for me shortly after I got on the blood type diet and started eating healthier. So I'm not telling you this just to hear myself talk. It's because God reminded me, guess what? What do you remember happened after you got on the blood type diet? Not only did my sense of clarity, and I'm not saying y'all got to get on the blood type diet, simply eating healthier will do, okay? Let me be clear. But I do know that the blood type diet is worth looking into. You might be able to take away something from it. You know, I mean, you don't have to necessarily go on it full time like I am. You can modify, you know, but eating healthier in general, bottom line, okay? However it is that you find that works for you, you see? Because the blood type diet works for me, okay? And yeah, it worked for me. And so now I get the chance to do what Dr. D'Adamo suggested for the type O, that when we get over there to eat, so we need to learn to put that the fork down every once in a while. He's right about that. We sure do. Because we get to, yeah. Said we need to learn to put that fork down every once in a while. So I was like, okay, I can work on that now. Anyhow, so, but whatever you find works for you. That's the thing. Don't be afraid to experiment with that either. Okay, you can try out different diets to find the one that works for you, as long as you're eating healthier. And then in general, just simply eating healthier. Like I said, that will do. It doesn't have to necessarily be a particular diet either. It could just be, it's our new way of eating, right? A better way of eating, a better way of living. Because like I've said before, we can't live our best lives if we're not living healthier lives, right? Oh, I know the enemy doesn't like the fact that we're on this movement, but it is what it is. Because we're not alone. There's a lot of people out here who know about the radio frequency. They just haven't found this ministry and the movement yet. So let's pray that they do in Jesus' name. Amen. Because we're in this together. And so giving you all the guidance and the support that you need every step of the way and beyond. Because we're in this together. Right? That's it. In God's reality. So healthier eating leads to living a healthier life. Right. And then at least to show support for the local farmers. Absolutely. I'm all for it. I'm on board. Absolutely. So there you go, everybody. It is what it is because it's going to help the healing. Because shortly after I got on that diet and I started getting more clarity, you see, circulation improves, your nutrients get where they need to go. You can think more clearly. You can see more clearly. Right. You become calmer. I know that. You overcome triggers. All of that. So it's important because, again, as you'll hear me say often, that eating healthier leads to faster healing. Not overnight type healing, but it will quicken the process a little bit. Because God needs us to get where He needs us to be. And so He will get us where He needs us to be, bringing us together to help one another, iron sharpening iron, uplifting one another as we're supposed to be doing. That's right. and not, leave the evildoers where they're at. They're going to take each other out. Okay? So there you go, everybody. That wraps this one up for today. We're at the 1 hour mark. So there you go. Don't hesitate to reach out with any questions you may have about the detox program journey, if you will. I don't want to call it a program, but well, it kind of is. But it's a journey. Okay, it's a process. Don't try to rush it. Remember, one day at a time. If you are at that stage of reducing your sodium, remember what you learned in the course. Yes, how to detox from trauma nutrition course. Okay, at the academy. Remember, a little bit of sodium at a time. All right. Yeah, you don't want to throw your body into shock. Okay, don't do that. God's like, don't do that. All right, everybody. You can drop those questions in the comment below, and you catch this on the replay, or you can send me the question via email. That's in the description below as well. If you have any questions about that or the ministry, any questions about consulting for heightened awareness. And if it's not personal or too personal, I'll answer it. If it's too personal, I'm not going to answer it. All right, everybody. So there, I've been clear about that. But general question. How did we come? The best way to find out how we came to be, y'all, is in real events of narcissistic abuse. Okay, it's still available at Amazon on the website. Easy peasy PDF download right on the website. That link is also listed below. And thank you to all who have left CHA a Google business review on our Google profile. And I want to say a thank you to all who will, because that link is also listed below, which directly takes you to Consulting for Heightened Awareness's Google profile, so you can leave your reviews there. And then also for those who would like to pledge service grants, the PayPal link is also listed below. And thank you to those who have, and a good thank you to all who will. Okay, everything goes right back into the community, obviously, to keep this content and the ministry coming to you. God's revelation for that trauma healing and spiritual growth while combating radio frequency poisoning for healthier living. All right, everybody, there you go. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Till next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.